Title slide, the 2011 California Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Crowd applause.
Now it's my privilege to present to you a great man, Ed Roberts, who's no longer with us, but his mother, Zona, will receive this honor in his place. Ed Roberts was paralyzed from the neck down when he was 14. Doctors, educators, and society gave up on him, but Ed Roberts didn't give up, and he surprised them all. In the 1950s, people with severe disabilities were not welcomed. There were no ramps to doorways for people in wheelchairs. There were no channels for education, job training, or political protection. Society saw people with disabilities as incapable of making decisions for themselves. In the 1960s, when Roberts entered UC Berkeley, little had changed. He even had to fight to gain admission. A professor told him education would be wasted on someone like him. Roberts responded by earning a master's degree and founded the first student-led disability program on any university campus. Roberts also created the world's first Center for Independent Living. This center allows people with disabilities to control their own lives by providing support services and training opportunities. There are now over 1,000 centers like it. In 1976, Governor Edmund G. Brown Jr. appointed Roberts director of the Department of Rehabilitation, the same agency that once denied him services because they deemed him too disabled to work. Roberts married and had a child. He went whitewater rafting and swam with dolphins. He showed the world that disability did not have to be a restriction. In 1983, Roberts co-founded the World Institute on Disability. Wheelchair-bound, but in no way bound to it, he traveled the world to help people with disabilities. His life's mission was to ensure that people in every corner of the world would have the chance to live an independent life. And there is one thing Ed Roberts brought us that each of us uses every day: the curb cuts found on every street corner in America. The state of California honors Ed Roberts, who raised the value of our humanity and convinced us all to never give up. Zona Roberts.
Zona Roberts walks onto stage. Zona hugs father Gregory Boyle. Governor Jerry G. Brown presents Zona the award.
What an honor. I'm sorry Ed couldn't be here, but I'm happy to be here for him. When I think of the 14-year-old who had wanted to be in the Marines. There were lots of things he wanted to do. He was an athlete. And all of a sudden that was denied to him with his paralysis that kind of started at his neck and worked down. Luckily, he had a couple of fingers on his left hand. He could maneuver a motorized chair when that came into our lives, because it wasn't when he was first paralyzed. But Jerry Brown, in appointing him, took a great chance in having somebody who had been reluctantly a client, not by his part, but by the agency, thinking that he was incapable of doing such thing. But by establishing the Center for Independent Living and showing that he could manage people and things and money and get that started, Jerry Brown took a chance on him. Thank you. That was wonderful. Yeah.
Crowd applause.
And it helped establish his reputation, which grew, and he worked hard for it. But Ed wasn't alone. There were so many people with disabilities. He was very inclusive with all types of what we might call disability, which I call human beings and people. People with any kind of things that they were having to deal with. And I want to talk to parents of kids who have disabilities and just remember that a kid of 14 when he went to college was to create, the headlines were, "Helpless Cripple Goes to College." So Ed had to go out and change the world to make that different. Just remember, you never know what can happen. Play to the strengths of your kids. They've got them. Find what they are and bolster those. And thank you very much for this honor.
Zona takes the award. The 2011 California Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Captioning and audio description provided by World Enabled and the Pineda Foundation for Youth.